The second set of college football playoff rankings have been released, and here's a look at the projected bracket. It is beautiful. The first round matchups from top to bottom: Notre Dame clashing with Tennessee, Ohio State hosting Boise State and Columbus, the Cream and Crimson hosting the Crimson Tide, then a rematch of last season's Peach Bowl, Ole Miss and Penn State. Nittany Lions looking to avenge that loss. 11 games to be played, culminating with the national championship in Atlanta. And for more, welcome in former Louisiana running back Emory Hunt here for Bracket Breakdown, filling out the bracket just like college basketball. And let's start in Columbus, Emory. Ohio State would host Boise State. Hey, Jim Knowles, watch out for Ashton Jeanty. Are the Buckeyes on upset alert in this classic 12-5 matchup?
I don't believe so. I believe this will be an easier one for the Buckeyes because, my opinion, Boise State's run game, you beat Jeanty to the punch. You slow him down. You make Maddox Matson make plays consistently throwing the football. Now, the passing game has been solid. But for me, I like the matchup with the receiving core of Boise State versus that secondary of Ohio State. So I'm going to take the Buckeyes to slow down Jeanty and then shut down their passing game subsequently. So Buckeyes will move on from the first round to take on the Miami Hurricanes.
We'll get to that matchup in a moment. Let's move further down the bracket here in the first round. The projected 8-9 game features Notre Dame against Tennessee. Who's moving on there?
Well, look, this game, as a fanatic of college football, I remember the 1990 game. I believe it was a top 5 matchup. Notre Dame went down to Knoxville to take on Tennessee, and you had Rocket Ismail close out the ball game on a toss sweep out the T formation. Ricky Waters was running wild in that ball game. This is what I'm saying about this matchup. This will be Notre Dame's run game and defense taking it to Tennessee. The Vols are competitive. They're a very good football team, but this game will look a lot like the Florida game with Notre Dame being able to close it out and move on.
All right, so Notre Dame moving on to face Oregon. We'll touch on that matchup in a moment. Then a rematch of last season's Peach Bowl. Ole Miss and Penn State. Nittany Lions would be looking to avenge that loss. Do they avenge that loss at home in Happy Valley?
This game is a show-me game. It should be played in Missouri because both teams have to show they're worthy of a big moment in a big game in a big spot. We saw Ole Miss last week do a fantastic job taking it to Georgia, punching Georgia back, and then subsequently knocking Georgia out. So I like them a little bit more so than Penn State. And I look at this defense of Ole Miss doing a great job of shutting down Penn State's offense. I will take Ole Miss to move on.
We're going to need a lot of hotty-toddy there to move on if they're playing on the road in 20-degree weather at Beaver Stadium. Good luck to you. All right, down the bracket, the Cream and Crimson hosting the Crimson Tide. Alabama projected to be a road favorite, which is not really surprising. Who you got, Emory, in this game?
I love Alabama in this spot. This will be the most entertaining game of the first round, in my opinion, because Alabama's defense can be had in the passing game. We know Indiana will play its best game. They got a little bit of shakiness going on against Michigan in a tight spot. I worry about their youth and experience in a playoff game. That's why I like Alabama to move on.
All right, so Alabama would move on to play Texas. Let's go to the top of the bracket here, to the quarterfinals. Ohio State against Miami. Who advances, Emory?
Miami advances, and this is not about Ohio State's defense. This is about Ohio State's offense. I know Miami's defense isn't championship worthy, but get this. They have the best player on the field offensively in Cam Ward, who could be the Heisman Trophy winner. I trust Cam Ward in a tight spot more than I trust what Ohio State has in Will Howard, so I'm trusting the offense of the Hurricanes here to knock off Ohio State and move on.
Did you just see what Georgia Tech did to Miami?
Did you see what Will Howard did in a clutch moment against Oregon?
Yeah, but that's also on coaching. I get that. I get that they lost by 1. Miami got absolutely clowned.
Did you see what Will Howard did in a good spot against Penn State?
Yes, he fumbled at the goal line. But you know what? They have other guys. They got Jeremiah Smith. They got Quinshon Judkins.
At Kansas State? Did you see Will Howard, what he did at Kansas State and the reason why he's at Ohio State?
I don't know about Miami. I don't trust Miami's defense. That's all I'm saying. I don't trust Miami's defense. They called them the Cardiac Canes for a reason. Okay.
Fair enough.
You got Miami moving on into the semifinals. Notre Dame and Oregon. So it's quack, quack, or is it one and done for the #1 team in the nation?
Nah, I like Oregon. They're balanced on both sides of the ball. I think this is a a better version of Notre Dame, in my opinion. And I trust Dylan Gabriel, a lot of experience, can push the ball vertically down the field. This will come down to which quarterback do you trust. And in this spot, I trust Dylan Gabriel and the Ducks to move on.
All right. So Miami and Oregon in the semis. We'll get to that in a moment. Ole Miss and BYU. Does the Lane train keep rolling?
Listen, we stayed up late, Hakeem, and watched this BYU-Utah game till 6 in the morning.
Yeah, we did.
Germany time. So, in this thing, when you look at Ole Miss, I think they're playing with house money here, and BYU has been living right because they've been getting by. I like Ole Miss to win this one and move on.
All right, so Ole Miss moving on. They beat BYU. Last quarterfinal matchup, Alabama against Texas. The Longhorns beat the Crimson Tide last year. What about this time, Emory?
You know, I love Texas, but at the end of the day, I've seen Quinn Ewers play in the big game this year and also last season. It didn't look good, and I like Jalen Milroe to go supersonic, Super Mario Brothers in this ball game because he is outstanding. We've seen him elevate his game in a big spot. I like Milroe and Alabama to move on.
All right, so now to the semifinals. Miami versus Oregon. Who's playing for the Natty?
The Mario Cristobal Bowl, and here's the thing. Miami, Cam Ward will not let his team lose. Give him the ball with any time left on the clock. They're going to go down the field and get it done. And by this time, Miami's defense will play with some pride because of what happened against Georgia Tech. So they're going to come into this playoff with it on their mind. I like them to move on to the national title game. Can you believe that, Akeem?
Wow. All right. It's a possibility that would be a home game for Miami as well because the semifinals are Thursday, January 9th in Miami and January 10th at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. All right, so who's going to be playing for the Natty here? The other semifinal, SEC rivals Ole Miss against Alabama. The Tide have defeated the Rebels 8 straight meetings. Do they beat them again to get to the Natty?
Make it 9. Jalen Milroe is the key here, man. We just saw him do amazing things against LSU. We've seen him do amazing things in postseason ball games. Think about last year versus Michigan. What happened in that last couple of moments of the ball game? I feel like that is still on his mind. Put him in a situation where he has a chance to right some wrongs. I like that Jalen Milroe to move on with his team.
All right, so here we go. For all the marbles. In Atlanta, it'll be a virtual home game for the Alabama Crimson Tide, right? They travel well. Miami fans travel okay, I guess. Who's winning the national championship in our first expanded playoff with 12 teams?
Hey, you talk about the Miami fans. By this time, they would have picked up a whole new set of bandwagon fans. So they'll match Bama's turnout as well. But I like Miami here, man. Expect this game, if these two teams meet up, to go over 70 points because we'll see this one go back and forth. Two elite-level quarterbacks lead their team, trying to get to victory. I would say Miami 45, Bama 42.
Wow. So you got Miami winning it all. Which would be pretty good value here because Miami's plus 3,500 on FanDuel to win the whole thing.
Yes, because at the end of the day, Miami's defense, they got shellacked on national TV last weekend. And now, even though they've shown that all season long, having that loss hang on their side of the football, on their heads, is going to ring, solid throughout the course of this week of practice. Expect this defense to come out looking at completely different the rest of the way and into this postseason.
I like that you didn't go all chalk. Miami has won 5 national championships, their last being in 2001. You can hit up Emory Hunt at Football Game Plan and just flood his mentions for his bracket here. Any and all of these schools, just hit him up and say, you're out of your mind, Emory.
Listen, as long as my Raging Cajuns remain to not be seen in these college football playoff rankings, they're going to get nothing but chaos from me. And as long as Army continues to be disrespected, they will get nothing but chaos coming on this side.
I love it. Emory Hunt, the agent of chaos here on CBS Sports HQ. Emory Hunt, appreciate breaking down the bracket. And you take a look at his final college football playoff bracket. Of course, this is a projection, a fun exercise. And he's got Miami cutting down the nets in Atlanta and winning their 6th national championship in program history. The Natty set for Monday, January 20th in Atlanta.